I want to actually of these ones, I want to briefly hit on this other business use case, the thing you were talking about, and I think it also affects you a lot too. But I've been seeing a bunch of B2B creators, especially coming in, and I think there's a big opportunity here, especially on the affiliate side. We're going to be pushing the affiliate side harder, so there'll be more opportunities there in the future. But like every gym owner should have a Skool community for their gym. Every barber should have a community for their barbershop. Every realtor should have a place for all of their existing people who bought houses. Every general contractor who did kitchen remodels. Like I basically think that fundamentally, like every business has a community. It's just whether it's happening on accident or on purpose. And so I think that you'll increase the likelihood that good things happen if you do it on purpose rather than allowing it to occur by chance. And so I think like anybody who's a B2B creator would benefit from explaining how to put everyone into Skool and then have a regular communication cadence with them, because the deliverability of messaging, of making a post, like 100% of people will see it. They can also interact because they all have the same, needs. People who are, getting their haircut and stuff, probably, I would imagine if they're going to a similar barber, probably have similar styles. And so there's probably like other things that people, would connect within those communities, right? And same thing with, e-commerce. Like if you have an e-commerce store, like you could do email follow-up and you should, but it probably would also benefit to have a community for your customers where you can like thank you page, like ask them to join, ask them to leave reviews, ask them to buy more stuff, find out feedback on the product. And I think all of that stuff is so much more valuable, is so valuable. And really, I mean, like fundamentally, I think that's how you can build a brand like in a microwave, like way faster, even like a tiny micro community of just rabid fans. And from every very wealthy person that I know that's built a very big business, they talk about it's better to have 100 fans who absolutely adore you than have 1,000 who like kind of like you. And I think that building a Skool community around that's why I think every business should have one. And so, yeah, there's my TLDR answer for that one. But when you said other business use cases, did you have any other particular questions around that?
Uh, like maybe how you would build it specifically for like a gym or a supplement company, like what would be the value? Like if you have, let's say like influencers or like partners, right? Like would a Q&A be valuable like with professional athletes that are backing like a supplement brand?
Yeah, I think, well, it depends. So I would chunk up this. So it's like if you chunk up from a niche to like an overall, like if you're doing haircut, it's like you could talk about hair stuff all day, but it's probably because people want to look good, right? So that's where like style, like and other things probably like would blend into that. If I'm a gym owner or I'm a supplement owner, it's like my groups would probably be relatively similar because I'm not just going to talk about like the gym. I'm going to
Yeah,
talk about all the other ancillary interests the people who buy my product also share.
to complete the
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if I had a gym, I would probably talk about the supplement stuff too, but I'd also talk about workouts. I'd probably talk about like, hey, who's meeting up to do hiking on the weekend? Yeah. And so I think it's facilitating community, which I know we're putting a lot of time and effort into. Ted's going to be helping us out next year, like trying to facilitate more inter-community stuff. I'm actually going to hit on this if you guys are good with it. So, so like acquisitions.com, I kind of see things like two big bets that we're willing to go all in on, which are on polar opposites, which is like AI and IRL. And so it's like, how do we basically, there's all the AI stuff. And then I also think there's this massive demand for in-person experiences, real life things. And so, I had a really good conversation with Ben Francis, who's the CEO of Gymshark. If you guys have heard of him, I know the UK guys probably have, but, I'll compress a whole day into like a soundbite. But basically, he felt that their most competitive strategy was that they had built an online business offline. And so when they looked at a map of where their pockets of high frequency purchasers were, they were all in the areas that he had started attending, like fitness expos at the very beginning. But the dollar sales far exceeded what he would sell at those conferences. And so there's an order of magnitude multiplication of people who saw him in person and then told 20 people, and those people bought. And so I think that like who here has met with their community in person? Anyone? Okay, cool. So you've met with your people. The ones who came in person, do you feel like those people will ever leave? Right. And so it's like, okay, if we know there's a way to create a permanent customer, how do we facilitate that happening with as many of them as fast as possible? And so obviously there's like kind of two types of events that you could run. One would be like a sponsored event, one that's like, this is an official group event that we're hosting, but then there's obviously the between them. And I think that both are valuable. Like there's been tons of Skool meetups across that like we haven't really like funded or been a part of, but it's been good for Skool overall. And so I think facilitating that kind of stuff, and try rather than again have me like we should do this, it's like do it more regularly and do it on purpose. And that's why I think that like it's the back and forth between IRL and online. So it's like you guys at the barbershop, like they're in real life, and then they'll also be far more likely to want to reconnect online, and then the people online want to connect in person, but people just want connection in the different and various mediums that are available. Yeah.
I know we got a lot of topics to cover, but I'd really like to unpack that even more maybe later on, because we're actually going to an expo tomorrow.
Yeah.
So to be able to kind of test that, how I would
Honestly, I think you just give them something really amazing for joining the free community or joining your community. So I just basically doing in person, like a lot of you guys do phone sales. And so the only thing sexier than phone sales is in-person sales. Has anyone here ever sold in person? Okay, a couple. Okay, good. Nice. Great. The real world. But yeah, it's way better. More tiring, but way better. And so like the sales are so much more genuine. They saw you in person. They know you're like, they see your avatar, and all of their memories and experiences about you in the real life kind of transfers to your in-person avatar.
How would you do that? Like, because I'm speaking on stage, so
Yeah.
like, there's gonna be 1,000 people there.
Yeah, call to action, and then you can meet everybody in the back. Yeah. And I think if you offer to like take a picture, have a conversation with anybody who like joins the community, you probably have a line for a fucking 2 hours. I say that not having known that.
Do you know you can do it? You know you can do a QR code to your community?
Yeah.
You go to just Google QR code generator and put your Skool link in there, and it will give you a QR code. Then everyone can just scan it, and it will just open up your about page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will work.
So let's say you had a plumbing company or electrician company. How would you have a Skool community around that?
It'd probably be around things that people do to improve their homes.
Oh, nice.
What did you say?
Things that people would do to improve their homes. I'm sure like chunking up, like what would somebody who, because you got Dan the plumber who comes in and he fixes your sink. Now, will everybody join? No. But if you don't have something, then like it's better than nothing.
I don't know if that one fits.
I have an electrician client. He runs a 7-figure business, and he has a community on Skool for other electricians that want to.
Yeah, that I see.
Yeah, the B2B
That
one.
But I don't want to connect with other dudes who hired a plumber.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
you know, it's
I
interesting
spoke to a
though.
guy yesterday who's got
Yeah.
easy pest solutions.
Well, I'll share it this way, which is that when when we lived in this HOA with all of these house moms, when there was a vendor who would come, people would want to know vendor stuff. So it could be more community driven around home services. Again, it's like if you chunk up high enough, there's something that people can have in common. I agree that particular use case is harder, but again, I would rather try and think, how can I solve this?
So home maintenance.
Yeah.
So like thinking about the broader picture instead of just plumbing. That makes more sense.
A Skool version of Nextdoor. The
Yeah.
Nextdoor app, yeah.
And if you're the one who owns that community, how valuable is that?
We have in my home service business, real business and life, like we have referral partners. So like we could offer like value to the customers, like 20% off Alex's plumbing, and I'm a landscaper, and then you're providing value for that customer, and then you vet the contractor because there's so many bad ones. I feel like it could work in that way.
And they refer you back business because you
Yeah.
sent them business. Yeah.
And price guides would be helpful.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the hell something costs when you go on Yelp.
I had a call yesterday with the exact thing. He runs easy pest solutions. He's not even licensed, and he was like, "No, it's like
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
like it's DIY." And he has a Skool community, and it's not for the business owner; it's for the general public. And I'm like, you don't ever want to connect with people. It's like, how do I get rid of my ants? You just Google it. So the situation we've got with him now is he'll have his group as public, and he'll focus on SEO, and he'll try and rank for all the top performing. How do I get rid of a bat in my house, or how do I get rid of an ant that's going under my house? and then bake affiliate links into each of the posts that come through to make money that way. So instead of being a private community, it's public, so people can scan and look through. And if they want to contribute, then they can join the community, which then has the membership approval. So he's got the questions and stuff there to do that. And then if he wants to eventually look at doing like the affiliate with actual businesses in those areas, or just call people for and say, I'll find someone for you kind of thing.
One of the most engaged communities on the platform is a community called Real Man, Real Style. And the owner, he owns an e-com business, and he sells clothes and watches to the people in the community. It works really well. But it's free communities around something that people are
I see
interested
the
in.
exact same thing with the barbers. Like that, if you looked at that group as like a model for what like engagement for a barber would be, not for you guys, but for like what a barber would look like, B2C, direct to consumer, I think that would probably be a great like place to start.
We have a Facebook group community, a free one that has 30,000 members, but it's terrible. Like I have no reach to the community that I built. How could I go about getting them from there to our free Skool community?
Kirby has like a how to take your Facebook group into Skool group like SOP.
Okay, cool. Send you a link.
Yeah,
Skool.
Yeah. Sweet.
Real quick, what do you think about like maybe a city page for the home services? Because I
Oh, I
do
think
floor
it'd be- yeah,
coatings like
yeah.
Bloomington events or something, as
Oh, yeah.
opposed to the
Think I didn't have
business in and
Huntington
of it.
Beach moms? Like, come on. That was my first gym, was in Huntington Beach. You know what I mean? Like yeah, if you can seem like an impartial third party and then just nudge your products.
Like a news
Look,
news
this
school.
one wins again, the 5-star review. Like
Yeah,
these guys
oh,
are just
man.
cleaning up. Yeah. Such
Business
good-
of the week.
Yeah, business of the week. 52 weeks in a row. You guys are just crushing it. No.
That's a killer idea.
All right.
Yeah.
We feel good on the other business use case. Like basically, if you're e-commerce, thank you page, and then asking your customers, that makes sense. If you're brick and mortar around a specific service, that's usually straightforward. If it's one-off home services, probably have to chunk up to home improvement in general, and then you can create a community around that. And the thing is that with the plumbing example that Ted had, if you created a home improvement community, that plumber did, right? And he talks about all sorts of home improvement stuff, then other people will join that community and they'll get invited to that community. And then those become leads so that when they do have plumbing problems, they call the plumber, right? So I think that's how I think about that. Cool on this one? Yeah, shoot.
What about like an entertainer, like a DJ? Do you think
For like a local area?
no, like a
Yeah.
like a music producer, DJ?
I mean, I think having a community this gets into the entertainer question that we had earlier. Shoot, that's a good transition. Let's just do that. So, check. Yay. All right, one down. I think, Sam and I have talked about this at a lot of length of like how the best way for entertainers, and I think a lot of it is building free communities, knowing that you can sell stuff in those communities that are like, that's where you can drop tickets. It's just like, think of it as like a far more engaged, it's like if stories became a community, like far more direct access. I think that because I don't think we've seen anyone like really crush entertainment directly. But I think having the communities that are free, that can bring lots of people in, then creates this captive audience that you can then do whatever you want with. I think that's how I would use it if I were an entertainer.
I think the sticking point there might be like what content, like, what do you put in there? Like what, to keep it alive and to keep it going and stuff.
No, it's a super good question. And I think a lot of entertainers have this issue. Like comedians, it's straightforward. They can just like talk about the news and make fun of it, right? But like musicians, it's like they can, show what they're working on that's like work in progress. Because there's a bunch of musicians that have done really well with this, like documenting like versions of songs, tiny clips, like how they're working on a beat, like kind of like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. The thing is that I don't think people have like tremendous value for that. I think people will watch it. I don't think a lot of people will pay for it, which is why I lean more towards like make it free, get all your people into it, and then use it from there as this captive audience you can do other stuff with, rather than like, do I charge $6 a month for that? Like, I'd rather just have the pool of all my people, and then when I drop my tickets or whatever it is, I'll have a higher take rate.
There's a band, I don't know if anyone knows them, Tool, but they have this thing called Tool Army, and so you can essentially join their membership with the way that they would lock it in to pay more at the beginning and you get some like merch and perks and stuff. And then it's just everything behind the scenes. Like these guys play rock music, they also make wine. And so it's like they don't show anyone else this except for the two are exclusive content, but they up the price by making posters and stuff like that.
I think the merch stuff makes a lot of sense because a lot of people like they want to feel like in group and like, you know, it's just like you voting. It's an identity thing. It's like, yeah, I'm a fan of these people because I think their music rocks or whatever. That makes sense. So yeah, I mean, it's the same idea. It's like, can I sell other stuff to that community? Obviously, t-shirts, merch, all that stuff kind of work outside of tickets.
I do a lot of this in the UK with like gaming content creators, so like the Sidemen and a lot of these guys, because I manage influencers, and they do like basically like Netflix style platforms that they make separately with like Uscreen is the platform that they mainly use, and the whole point of it is just like bringing that much bigger audience into a smaller space that, you know, they can charge $6, $6.99, just get that commitment, and then they incentivize via like the discounts with merch, via like behind the scenes content that you can't publish on YouTube because obviously we get restricted and banned, and people tend to want to see that process a lot more. So a lot of people do that in the kind of gaming or entertainment space, like UK YouTubers.
I think having an angle of like, I'm not allowed to publish this on the main platforms is a really good one. I don't know how true it is, but like if you have
the Sidemen definitely can't publish this stuff.
No, I'm sure, but I'm saying like if like a normal musician's like, I can't post this beat that I'm making on Instagram.
I get able will cut me.
I will.
It depends. I guess it depends on the content style.
Yeah, I'll get shadow banned if I told you what I'm really doing. You know, I mean, I'd be like, I'll pay $6 to find that out. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for somebody who's done entertainment really well on the community. Obviously we've seen the free audiences and then selling other products through the community, like the fragrance one, like he sells those things to that audience. And I think it's a dollar and cents trade-off. You just look, okay, well, I make more money if I have a smaller amount of people paying me $6 a month versus having way more people, and then 1 out of 10 of those or 1 out of 20 of that larger group buys merch 2 times a year when I drop it. It's just like, what's the average revenue per group member over a year, and looking at the difference. Sophie, did we get yours? Do you feel okay on that? Or do you want to ask anything else?
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Sure.
The kind of specific person I'm thinking of working with is a professional FMX rider.
Oh.
So it's very hard. Like, he could obviously not teach what he does.
He can't
through
teach
school.
tricks?
Yeah.
He can't?
Not through school.
No? Like videos and like things like that? Like behind the scenes, like how to do this type of trick and things like that?
I don't think so.
Like a triple backflip.
It's very...
Well, you teach like a single one, right? Like just the handle spin, and then you like...
No, this is like motorbike.
Oh, motorbike.
Yeah.
Do they have a lot of tricks? I'm super unaware.
More backflips.
Well, is this Harry Bink?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, we had a chat, but he had a really bad accident last time.
He had a what, sorry?
He had a bad accident because we were talking
I
about it
saw
last
that.
time
He
we were
broke his
here.
neck, yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, didn't get back to me for a while.
Sam
He
broke
did
his
it when
collarbone.
I did it. Yeah.
So as a rider who's just been injured, it's like the income stops.
He's coming pretty late into his career now, and I can see he's, needs to figure out what's the next step. But he's very big into mindset. He does all sorts of crazy base jumping and stuff like that. So I think
he could just do a free one, and then there's probably opportunities for sponsorships and other things.
Discounts of tickets and stuff, or like affiliates for tickets or something, if he drives himself.
Yeah, but motocross is a super tight community. They're like a cult. Like, because it's a weird thing. Not many people are that crazy.
for him, I think he has such a big audience, but the stuff he does is so insane. I think a lot of people are interested in the mindset that he has and how he got there. So I think that could be a potential angle to take.
Yeah, I've been super torn on this because it's like, on one hand, you know, we had the Derulo thing, right? Where it's like, how big's the audience versus how much they want the thing inside of the community, which is why I think I've leaned more towards the free, like just get as many people in there and then have alternative ways to monetize. The one benefit with educators is like, education will always have a smaller audience than entertainment because there's no effort in entertainment. You just have to be there and consume it, and you don't have to do anything. Whereas education, you have to change your behavior. And so there's always fewer people who are willing to do the next step. But the benefit of education is there's so many ways to monetize it. so many different mediums. Like you can do in-person workshops, you can do webinars, you can do groups, you can sell a course, you can sell, like there's so many different things. There's so many different things you can sell. Whereas entertainers, it's much more difficult, and typically it's typically physical products that are sold through the eyeballs of the people that they have the captive attention of. And so if you think about television, all of that's entertainment. And then the advertisers pay for that entertainment by just saying, oh, buy my soap, like it's usually products that are very easy for people to understand and immediately purchase. Like if you look at the Mr. Beast and the Logans, it's like, it's drinks and food and things that people can immediately, alcohol is one that, the comedians, a lot of them have their own alcohol now. Fragrances, like those are all things that entertainers get into as their way of monetizing. Rihanna has Fenty. Like it's a common theme that they'll go physical products to their large distribution base rather than like How to Sing by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, how many people are in this Tool Army thing? This made me interested because I've been looking for a musician example. How many people do you know?
I'm not sure, but it's kind of like a Grateful Dead vibe where they're very.
How much does it cost?
I can't remember. Maybe 200 a year, something like that. She looks.
$55 a year.
Okay, yeah.
How many? Does it say how many people? What's this up the top?
Just join camp.
No, there was a number up there. Oh.
That was 563,000 community members, apparently.
Paying $50 a year?
Do that, man?
I don't know if that's right.
So 500,000.
It's like 30 million.
If that's real,
yeah,
we found it.
Like, yeah. Yeah. That feels not true.
But if that's true...
Oh, yeah, if it's true, it'd be great.
Then we just discovered some shit.
In fact, if it is cited, yeah. Yeah, the thing with that, if someone identifies it, like, they're not leaving ever. Like, there's, like, people wearing Grateful Dead. Yeah, it's same vibe. Well,
Are they not kind of just buying merch, though, and getting that as an additional at that
they're getting, like, exclusive access to, like, events and messages from the band, the custom messages just for those people, things like that.
So $55 a year gets you merch and access to the group and some other.
But this is actually a trend in music right now, which is being independent.
Yeah.
Like the new artists that are up and coming, they don't have labels.
Mm-hmm. It's like self-publishing for books.
They fund themselves with their communities. So they're very good at building community.
Yeah.
And yeah, they fund it through merch, events, but it is a community that's tying all of it together. But I haven't seen someone just explicitly charge a membership for it, which is why this is really interesting.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, we're buying it right now.
There we go. Yeah, get your affiliate. Like, no, I think, again, it's does Taylor, let me put it this way. Taylor Swift makes more money not teaching how to sing. If you're an educator, you'll make more money teaching how to educate. And within the context of Skool, we found that people, in terms of by head count, education is more efficient at monetizing, but you monetize a smaller base. Per person, educators will make more. Entertainers have more people. Right. I make more money per person in my audience than Mr. Beast does, by a fucking mile. Mr. Beast has more people, and he sells lower ticket products to them.